Let's look at Monday. It's a busy day. There are 10 games on. Who do we stream in if we can stream? What are we watching for? What are the injury updates? And of course, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I'm going to be entering the 2024 Microsoft Excel World Championship. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs, which helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedinjobs.com/LockedOnNBA. linkedinjobs.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. Now, normally I'd tell you to be a double banger, but I'm actually going to double bang you today because we're having this preview show for Monday, and then straight after this finishes, and while you are watching this live, I'm going to be recording the recap show from Sunday because of the early games and Super Bowl Sunday. So actually, I've triple banged. We did the Waiver Wire show, straight into the daily look ahead show, straight into the daily recap show. And I know you're not going to watch it when the Super Bowl's on. All those of you who don't care about American football might. But it's going to give you something to watch after the fact later on in the day. And I'm just banging out the content so I can go and watch the Super Bowl. What's my pick? I think the Chiefs are going to win 27-21 is my final score prediction. And I cannot wait to be incredibly wrong. Okay, so we are talking about the games on Monday. There are the 10 games on, like I said. Not really a super strong stream day. Wednesday's got 13. That one we can rule out. Tuesday and Thursday are the lower volume days. This part, or part A of week 17. And then, of course, part B, after the All-Star game, we have just one streaming day available, which is going to be the Saturday. The others are all big boys. So we are here to look at what we need to look at across this part of the day. Of course, injury updates will come through. LaMelo Ball, I ruled him out because, you know what, I just expected it. Like, why? I don't know. I just had a feeling. He has officially now been ruled out. LaMelo Ball, Bob Covington is out for the Sixers. Clint Capella is out for the Hawks. Pat Williams is out. Chris Middleton's out. And they did the dreaded no timetable to return. I'll all ask you again, just relax. NBA teams, as a general rule, will throw out two statuses. Day-to-day or no timetable. Or, you know, indefinite or whatever. That's what they throw out because they don't like to give you information. Actually, they have three. Day-to-day, no timetable to return, and X weeks until reevaluation. That's how they do all of their injuries. All right, we try and get through and guess what things are going to be. And when they give us a reevaluation, that's really strong. It's good for us to be able to know that. And when they give us specifics on the injury type, we can sort of understand what all that means. But they're the three injury things they give out. Day-to-day, which usually is 1 to 2 games, whatever it is, a week, who knows. They give no timetable to return. They just don't want to tell you, or they're just seeing how it all responds, or reevaluation, which is honestly worse than hearing no timetable because that means they go, at least we know that he won't be ready for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. No timetable can come back the next day. That's how it works, so don't panic. Anyway, Chris Middleton's out. And Brandon Clark remains out. I think we might get a little bit of Brandon Clark in April. Play the final 6 to 10 games of the season, maybe end of March, on limited minutes just to get himself and a bit of confidence back. Absolutely no reason to rush him back and play him as a starting center rest of the season off his torn Achilles. That's my guess on that. Also, pretty low confidence in Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart playing. Dyson Daniels has been ruled out for the Pelicans. Fred VanVleet is out. Dante Exum's out. He hasn't played since like Christmas, man. Like that's a long... Ever since Jason Kidd went, this is our starting lineup for the foreseeable future. Exum's been out. Derek Lively's out again, so we'll see what they do with Gafford. Chris Paul is out. I had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope listed as doubtful. Obviously, he had a hamstring cramp, which was very clearly not a cramp, and he missed 2 games with that hamstring cramp. So I thought, well, it would make sense that he misses this game and sits out until the break, but they've listed him questionable. Now, I still don't think he's going to play, but Caldwell-Pope is listed questionable for the Nuggets officially for Tuesday. A bunch of other injuries that we don't have updates on just yet. Jalen Smith, He is officially questionable. Kyle Lowry will be signing with Philadelphia. I don't know that that's officially gone through, so I don't know that he's going to be available. DeAnthony Melton has been ruled out. So has Nick Batum, so we got those official updates. Mo Bamba is officially questionable for the Sixers. Bruno Fernando missed the last game for the Hawks. Why that's important? Well, they don't have a backup center because Capella's out, so they need him to get some minutes there. Otherwise, they're going super small. Wes Matthews, I'm going to guess he's questionable. That doesn't matter too much, but if he is out, it does push hopefully more minutes to Kobe Buffkin. Michael Ponder Jr. has been upgraded to probable for the Nuggets, so he'll be okay. Then the Grizzlies, I don't know. At this point, I know Zaire Williams missed the last 2 weeks or whatever, so I'll say he's questionable, but who knows? Jake LaRavia's missed the last 3 weeks. His reevaluation date has come and gone. We've heard nothing. Again, keep that in your mind when you hear about Bain's reevaluation date and Smart's reevaluation date. We hear nothing. So I don't know about that one. And then who knows? Will Jaren appear? Will Santi appear? Will Kennard appear? Will Pippen be in the G League or not? There might be 7 extra blokes on that Grizzlies injury report. Zion is questionable. He missed the last game with the foot issue on the back-to-back. Interesting that he's popped up as questionable here. I think he'll be okay, but we'll see. Tari Eason, we haven't really had an update there. I am putting him in questionable because we are well past any of his reevaluation dates. But I don't know. That would be smart to leave him out through the All-Star break. But I'm not sure. Also, I'm not adding Tari Eason. I've said that a few times as well. Alperen Şengün missed the last game with a back issue. Got him questionable at the moment. Same with Cam Whitmore, who's missed the last one with an ankle. Isaiah Hartenstein with his Achilles. This is a 2-year problem for Hartenstein. And it reminds me of Clint Capella, who had these Achilles soreness issues for like 2 to 3 years as well. I wouldn't be shocked if Hartenstein sits another 1 or 2 here, rests up all through the All-Star break, which is the only way to really ease the issue here with his Achilles, and then he's ready to go after the break. So I wouldn't be shocked if he misses. Jericho Sims, that's also important, because if he is not there, that means they have to start Taj Gibson, who honestly, sorry Taj, but yeah, like the man's done. Like, good bloke, cooked. Norman Powell got smacked in the face, saw blood everywhere on the court from that game on Saturday. He's questionable, and Jaden McDaniels is also questionable. There are 2 teams that have the Monday-Tuesday back-to-back. It is Milwaukee and it is Minnesota. Those 2 teams play the Tuesday-Thursday quality game combo as well this week. And the Wolves are, of course, the only team that plays the 3 quality games across the extended Week 17 matchup. So when you're looking to stream guys, look at Milwaukee guys, look at Minnesota guys. You get the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday combination here for both of those teams, which can be a real advantage for you. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you are hiring for a small business, you need to find the quality professionals that are right for the role. That is why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Hiring's a nightmare. Like, I've had to do it so many times, and so many times you get the resumes and applications come in, and you've got certain requirements, and they just go, I'm okay. I'll do it. It's like, bro, I need a pharmacist. You need to be like registered and have a degree. No, I actually used to work at the supermarket. Cool. Like, I don't have time for that. LinkedIn Jobs filters out all the nonsense. And when you're a small business owner, there are so many different things you need to do. You need to put your jobs in front of the right people. With LinkedIn, you got access to 1 billion professionals. 1 billion. 86% of people who post their job on LinkedIn, they get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That is linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, let's take a look now at streams of the day. For 10 teams, I am going with Paul Reed, just a must-roster player. Sometimes I know there can be confusion about terminology. A stream of the day, right? This means that this guy sits under my roster cutoff of 57% for a 10-team league. He just needs to be rostered. Like, this is just simple stuff, I believe. So 57% suggests to me that he's around in these 10-team leagues. But so you add him for sure for Monday, and then you just hold on to him. And the same goes with the 12-team stream, which is Amen Thompson. While Fred VanVleet is out, you stream him in for this game and any game that VanVleet is out. And then you move on from him. The 14-team stream is Chris Dunn. I think Chris Dunn should be on a 14-team roster. With the way that they've restructured their lineups, we'll see, but I think he should be rostered. Your 16-team league is Tre Mann. Again, Tre Mann should just be on a roster in 16s. In 14s, honestly, probably 12s. With the uncertainty around LaMelo Ball, I don't know when he's going to return. Mann is starting. You got to use him. Now, points league streams are Amen Thompson. So while these are all streams, because they use and be trying to manipulate and adjust all my roster percentage cutoffs that I use, because honestly, it's impossible to do this with all the different formats and different leagues and competitive levels and the way players evaluate, all that sort of stuff. It's very hard for me to give you, in every single 12-team league, this guy is available, right? So we have to use certain benchmarks. But most of the time, these guys, they just should be on rosters. Like, these guys should be on in all these individual settings here. 10, 12, 14, 16. These guys should just be on rosters and should just be held until we get something different that changes. And that's how a lot of this stuff works. So, who's on my radar? The first game is Indiana and Charlotte. Andy Nembhard continues to start for the Pacers. I'm not that enamored with his fantasy game, but with the absence of Buddy Hield, we are seeing more minutes for Nembhard, and there's some occasional stuff there. I'm not super into it, but I'm watching it. For the Hornets, Grant Williams played 30 minutes off the bench as they completely revamped their entire rotation. All of their previous bench guys, Steve Clifford jacked them off.
Get that garbage out of here.
Everyone that was in their bench rotation was done. So they just chucked a whole new bunch of guys out there. So Grant also has the ability to play some backup center with Mark Williams out and the genius Nate Mensah booted into the nether zone. I don't know where he's gone. Where's he gone? Like the I'm trying to think of those like Marvel dimensions. Anyway, one of those ones, the Shadow Realm. That's where he's been booted to, Nate Mensah. A lot of talk on Nate Mensah. Grant is usually not a good fantasy player. He's also never been on a terrible team. And we've seen the difference between Terry Rozier going from a terrible team, Kelly Oubre going from a terrible team onto good teams. They struggle. Speaking of Rozier, injury today on his knee did not look good. I don't know what it is, and I don't believe there's any announcement there, but they lost so many players today. Rozier, Richardson, Caleb Martin got hurt, Duncan Robinson got hurt, Jimmy Butler was out for personal reasons. They just got wiped out. And we'll talk about that in the daily recap show coming after this, the double bang that I give you. Nembhard's the stream for Indiana. I think Tre Mann is the priority stream for Charlotte, but Vasilije Micic is there too. Micic shot unbelievably last game, and it made his line look better than Mann. And if Mann and Micic's shooting percentages flipped, then we'd be talking about Mann. Now, maybe that isn't the case. Maybe they don't flip, but I'll just give that slight edge to the guy that starts. And we always want to be looking and readjusting and making decisions based on information that comes to hand. Philadelphia and Cleveland. Buddy Hield is playing a ton. Melton and Batum remain out, so he's going to keep playing a ton. I think that it is a gigantic sell high because I just don't think he's going to play 38 minutes a night. Now, you could argue that he will start over DeAnthony Melton. I get that. You could argue that he will start over Nick Batum, or he will start and get those minutes over Kyle Lowry. I find it hard to make an argument that he plays 38 a night. I find that argument hard. Again, when you look at the rotation for the Sixers, when you're seeing Ricky Council play 23 minutes, you go, yeah, they're in a pretty bad way. So we watch Hield and we see how the trickle back of guys, maybe Lowry, impacts him. For the Cavs, it's just about the Winter Soldier for me. Not only is he smoldering, but he sucks at fantasy. He had a pretty good game last time out. I don't believe he's anything more than a streamer at this stage. I think for Philadelphia, we would consider Lowry as a stream guy if we knew that he's playing. Otherwise, we're going to like Turk Smith, or we're going to Ricky Council the fourth, the Mayor McCheese. Old Ricky Council, we go to him. And then Isaac Okoro for Cleveland, maybe. For Chicago and Atlanta, Ayo Dosunmu is the guy that I want to watch. It's more the interplay between him and Drummond. We saw last game when they were against the Magic, and even in the preview show, I said, hey, I don't know how much they're going to go with Andre Drummond, considering that means he has to match up with Wagner and Banchero. He did get early foul trouble, but he didn't hit 20 minutes. So how do we go here if Drummond and Vooch are playing the 4-5, and one of those guys has to match up on Jalen Johnson or Sadiq Bey? I'll guess not very well. So we will see. If Drummond gets 30 minutes here with no foul trouble, then they are just going to play that lineup regardless. If Drummond is back to a 17-minute role, then it is very matchup dependent, and that impacts Dosunmu. Sadiq Bey had 3 months to have an opportunity to be a very good fantasy player, and he was dreadful for all of it. DeAndre Hunter comes back and he goes, all right, I might be good now. So the depressed penis is on. We use him, we stream him while it's happening, and then we get ready to drop really quickly. Dosunmu probably is the stream there for Chicago. I'm using 39% roster cutoff, so Drummond's above that, but you can use Drummond if he's there. And then DeAndre Hunter, who's at 31%. We know that he's not very good, but he can have those occasional spike games. The Spurs and the Raptors. Victor Wembanyama's last couple of games have been a little bit below par, and people are very quick to get angry at this guy. I don't know why, but they are. I had someone tweet at me, man, I'm over it. I want to get rid of him. Like, bro, he's the 13th ranked player over the last 2 weeks. Sorry to that man who tweeted me this, but like, if you're upset with him, then you're upset with literally every other player on your roster. I know that it's annoying that he got 1 rebound. People focus so much. You're 7 foot tall and you got 2 rebounds? It's the Brook Lopez, Miles Turner issue, Jaren Jackson. Why can't you get a rebound? People love that. They always hyper-focus on it, right? So I'm not saying that Wembanyama is a buy low, but maybe if someone's actually like pissed off and wants to get rid of him, this is like a top 10 player, I think. And I know there's injury risk and shutdown risk and all that sort of stuff. I'm not that concerned. For Toronto, Jakob Poeltl just didn't play last game. 22 minutes or whatever it was. Just cut way down. He played 37, I believe, the game before that. Is that going to be what he does, 22? I doubt it. That was like a 40-point blowout or 30-point blowout. But we need to see those minutes. For the streamers, Bubble Champagne in San Antonio. I'm looking a little bit at Malachi Branham. They're pushing his minutes up and Chetty Osman's down. But Champagne's probably the guy there. And then Olynyk in Toronto or Gary Trent. But I do prefer Kelly Olynyk, who I think probably is just a 12-team league guy in general. On to the next game. It is the Denver Nuggets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Not a lot for me to look at on Denver, to be honest. I put Aaron Gordon here, who's been very up and down. I more want to watch how many minutes he plays at center. Like, do they get DeAndre Jordan back into the rotation, or is Gordon going to play all those minutes? That's important to me, and that means more for Peyton Watson. For the Bucks, Pat Beverly, what is his role? How does that impact someone like Leaky Beasley? Does that mean that they limit Beasley because they want Beverly out there with Lillard? Let's see how they run that, because obviously a Beasley-Lillard backcourt is horrific defensively, and Doc has some experience with Patrick Beverly, so don't be shocked if you see situations where Beasley plays 21 and Beverly plays 26. It's Doc Rivers after all, don't be surprised. In terms of streams, Reggie Jackson probably in Denver, which boosts even further if KCP is out. And then Jay Crowder will likely be starting, I guess, and playing way too many minutes in place of Chris Middleton. But Crowder's available everywhere. So I know he can have the big one. He also can have the bad one, but you've got a real streaming option for a 40-minute a night starter, who again is not good, but you've got that opportunity to do something there with him potentially. Today's episode is also brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Do you ever wonder what adventure can be right around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drives and for great escapes. Class-exclusive Google built-in is your always updating assistant to call on for almost anything. Don't worry about connecting your phone anymore. That's done. It's a thing of the past. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Their lineup also includes the 2024 Nissan Armada. It will change what you expect from a full-size SUV. Picture a rugged 4x4 that can sit up to 8 in first-class luxury and style. Tow bigger and explore further in the 2024 Armada. Take the Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, and the Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com. All right, let's bang out the rest of this. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans and the Memphis Grizzlies. Ken Murphy III was pretty good last game. I've been very, very underwhelmed with him all season. Dyson Daniels is out, so let's see what that does to Murphy's minutes. Obviously, last game, Murphy was up with Zion out as well. He's playing back-to-backs now, which is encouraging. I don't think he's anything more than a streamer and not a 12-team league player. While for the Grizzlies, it's about Greg Jackson for me. GG is playing pretty strong minutes. They still haven't started him. I'd like to see him get 32 consistently a night. That would mean he's a guaranteed must-roster guy. At the moment, he is. You want him, but there's going to be a lot of issues, especially in category leagues, and even more so if you do play Roto, because there's going to be issues with assists, steals, blocks, field goals, free throw percentage, and turnovers. Like, all that stuff is going to be bad, I think. But you're going to get a lot of volume, which helps a lot in points leagues too. For streaming, Larry Nance, although if Zion is out, we don't worry about Larry Nance. If Zion is out, we don't care about Larry Nance. We look to a Najee Marshall or a Jose Alvarado there. And then for Memphis, Santi Aldama's not really rostered very much. Fair enough. I get it. He's pretty mid. But I do think he should be on a 12-team roster, at least in a streaming capacity. The Knicks and the Rockets. Bojan Bogdanovic for New York. He played 33 minutes coming off the bench. We'll see how they run. Obviously, they're running an incredibly tight rotation because they're missing so many players, and they'll still be missing all those players here, except we don't know about Hartenstein. I firmly believe Bogdanovic is going to be a drop later in the season, but for now, we roll with it. But if Hartenstein plays, where are Bojan's minutes? Do they get impacted at all? Because that'll be like, it's him or Precious getting the power forward minutes then. In terms of the Rockets, Jabari Smith had one of the weirdest lines ever last game, like just massive steals, massive blocks. He's been incredibly up and down this season. I just want to see a bit of consistency. In terms of streams for the Knicks, it is Alec Burks. When you're looking for points and threes, that's about it. But they don't run anyone, so you know he's going to get an opportunity. And then for the Rockets, Amen Thompson's the guy there, while Fred VanVleet's out, we're using Amen pretty comfortably. Washington and Dallas. Last game was not good for Marvin Bagley. I beg everyone, though, this smells a little Paul Reed. And I'll tell you why. And I cannot believe that you guys are making me defend Marvin Bagley. Me, Marvin Bagley, the guy that I think is one of the worst players or has been one of the worst players in the NBA and one of the most overrated fantasy players ever. But I am having to defend Marvin Bagley because last game he played like 15 minutes and everyone's like, well, what a dud. We're dropping him. It's like, I don't know about that. He's already started like 2 games for the Wizards. He played 40 minutes in one of them and 33 in the other. So did they just immediately switch that decision? Was it a matchup thing where the other team went small? Yes. Was it a thing where he was coming off a back injury? Also, yes. Now, if he plays 15 a night as a starter and they just run Kuzma at center the whole way through, then yeah, like we're dropping him. But not yet. He needs those 30 minutes because he's not very good. But I think he gets them. And then for the Mavs, Daniel Gafford. He was great, but he played limited minutes. And I had multiple tweets come at me yesterday. Man, I'm so worried. Gafford played 17 minutes. And I had the other ones. Man, Gafford's amazing. Look at these numbers. This is fantastic. So it's the duality of man. I don't think that Gafford can be a 12-team league player in 17 minutes a night. He was great. I do think he's got a significant chance to start for this team, even when Lively returns. But Lively's not here. Let's see what they do with him and how they use the minutes. In terms of streams, Corey Kispert was dreadful last game, but he'd been really good prior to that. He's fine, but he can be quite limited fantasy-wise. I put him in like the Simone Fontecchio bucket. And then Josh Green is probably the stream in Dallas, but we know he can be pretty invisible from a usage perspective at times. The Warriors and the Jazz. We are watching Klay Thompson because he just keeps getting benched. I don't think he's hit 30 minutes in 3 consecutive games. He will have hot streaks for sure. But what is worth noting is that, like, I've talked about Klay looking rough all season. And a lot of pushback I got on that was from Warriors fans. But also the pushback was, yes, well, he always starts the season slow. And then once we hit January, he'll roll at top 60 and you'll eat your words. And he started to do it for a few weeks. But I'll remind you, we are after January now, and Klay is not a top 60 player. He is like 130th, and he is getting benched for Guy Santos. So, yeah, I think in most formats, or most 10s and some 12s, he's definitely droppable. You don't have to, but I think if you moved on, you'd be okay. Not certain on it, but I think you'd be okay. For the Jazz, Walker Kessler. I guess that he continues to start. Is he a 27-minute-a-night guy every night now? That's really key. For the streamers, Gaz Payton returned last game, 15 minutes straight away. That's going to cut into my man Guy and even Lester Quinones. That's maybe streamable. And then for the Jazz, I really do think Chris Dunn's interesting. We'll see how much the Dunn/2 other guards lineup is out there. So, Sexton, Clarkson, and George, because they ran a little bit of that, because they have no threes. And the guy they played at 3 is honestly one of the worst players in the NBA, and that is Taylor Horton Tucker. The next game is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I believe this might be the last game of the day. It is the last game of the day. Anthony Edwards, just want to watch that. He's had a couple of little bangs that he's suffered. He hasn't quite been at what some people expected him to be. And I keep here talking, he should be in the MVP discussion. Absolutely he should not even remotely close. I don't care that they're up the top of the standings. Not remotely close. He's been really good. Not near that. So I just want to see him, I guess, take those consistent steps forward. For the Clippers, Zubats, what are his minutes? Is he going to stick at 21? And last game, they went really small. Zubats played like 21 minutes. Plumlee barely played 10 minutes, I think. Tice didn't. And that gave more minutes to Westbrook. But look at Westbrook's minutes. They're like 15, 27, 18, 26. And Zubats still needs to ramp up, so let's see what it does. Because if Zubats stays at 21, we're 100% not rostering him. But for now, we are. Kyle Anderson, probably the stream there in Minnesota, although we probably do get to see Monte Morris for the first time. And then Amir Coffey, the Farmers Union. It was interesting. He still played 20-odd minutes last game. That was likely because of the small ball stuff, but also Norman Powell's face stuff. But Paul George was back at regular minutes. So let's see what Coffey does. The value is a little bit lower. Not going to do like chunk streams or 5 and 8s or anything like that because it's a weird schedule part. We've only got the 2 days anyway where it's Minnesota, Milwaukee and Portland who play the Tuesday-Thursday combo. That's all you're looking at across that period of the next 4 days. So let's look at 10-team stream options for Monday's game. We are starting with Paul Reed. We're going to Amen Thompson, the Big Avocado, Andre Drummond, the Big Sneeze, Presta Chua, Io DeSumo, and of course, Big Dick Nick Richards. A lot of bigs in that group. Your 12-team streamers, We're going to go with Christopher Dunn, Kelly Olynyk, and Keontae George. A little unfortunate they all have Utah ties and they all start with K. That's 3 Ks in a row. We got a Tre Mann after that, Andrew Nembhard, and Jay Crowder as my 12-team streams. For deeper leagues, we're going to Timothy John McConnell, who put up an absolutely huge game in 17 minutes last time out. Lil John Concha, the Duck Luke Kennard, Larry Nance, or that would drop off if Zion is out. Cody Martin, who is starting in Charlotte. Not sure that he will continue to, but he is now. And the guy that might take over from Martin is Vasilije Micic. For points leagues, we go to Amen Thompson. Precious Achua is a really good stream. These are all 50% or below. I just upped that percentage number to cover a few more ranges of points league sizes. Andre Drummond, Brandon Pajemski, Ayo Dosunmu, and finally, Tre Mann. And that brings us to the end of the daily look ahead show. While you're watching this, be ready. There is going to be a daily recap show coming after this very, very soon. But while you're waiting for that, the best way to know that when it drops is to hit the subscribe button. It's to double bang. It's to hit the notification bell, to thumb up, and to leave your bloody good comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.